Hi. Today we're watching RWBY Volume 2, Episode 9, Search and Destroy. Highlighted comment from last time is... Jajang! So we got one by... Zay Alandresha Saha 3373. The war tried to wipe out creative expression and individualism as a way of combating the grim. If people are forced into a specific mindset and can't think or act for themselves, then they can't lure the grim. That was the idea. That makes a whole lot of sense. You know, I really like the idea of the Great War being about creativity and expression just on its own as an idea, but then this puts it in, this makes the connection that's so obvious, which is the grim are lured in by negative emotions. If we express ourselves properly and we don't bottle that up and we accept people for who they are. Hi, editing Seru here. I'm a dumbass and I completely misinterpreted what the comment was saying. So the comment was saying the war was to wipe out creativity because creativity and expression has more risk of drawing in the grim because, more creativity and expression means more risk for getting hurt. And so a more rigid, strict society that can't think on its own would be dystopian, but it would also mean less likelihood for grim attacks. I completely twisted that comment to the opposite meaning, so ignore that. It kind of works as a different interpretation. So yeah, goodbye. Then the likelihood of negative emotion would be lessened, because it's a more positive society if we accepted everyone and, let everyone do their thing. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. That actually makes sense. That's really cool. I really like that. So not much to say about the comments this time. So I decided, well, why not I kind of talk about my thoughts or my predictions as to what would be cool for future developments of the show. Now, this is probably all wrong, but I did want to take a look at all the characters of the main teams, at least the main two teams, RWBY and Juniper, and kind of look at their inspirations and see what they could do moving forward. So for RWBY, I remembered, she's a weapons nut, right? We haven't actually really got to see that much. So I was like, okay, what if her scythe gets destroyed and she has to rebuild it? And then that leads to an upgrade in the weapon. I think that could be a cool idea to showcase the fact that she's into weapons, but also maybe dive a little more into the relationship between her and the weapon. Because I remember back in Volume 1, she was talking about how weapons aren't just weapons. They're not just tools, they're an extension of you. And I think there's some opportunity there to explore how RWBY views her weapon as an extension of herself. What does the scythe mean to her as a character, as a person? Does it have something to do with her mom? Does it have something to do about her dreams of becoming a huntress? Does it have something to do with something in the past, that led to her creating the weapon? I think there's a lot of potential there to dive into more of RWBY's character by going more into the scythe. And then also being deceived by family thing is from Red Riding Hood. So I just think it could be an interesting plot point to happen somewhere down the line where someone is the wolf in the grandma's clothing, so to speak. It could be a cool illusion, but also, RWBY is one of the more important characters of the series. You know, like everyone says, oh, you know, everyone's the main character, sure, but like RWBY is the person we're introduced to first. And that puts more focus on her, despite being a little bit of an ensemble cast show. And a cool plot point to have is someone who is close to us, the audience, because we know them and we trust them, and someone who is close in universe to RWBY, specifically someone she considers family, betrays her in some way. I think it could be interesting. They don't have to do that, but it could be a cool Red Riding Hood allusion. And then we have Weiss. I was thinking about Snow White, and I'm just like, who's the evil queen in the story? Who are the dwarves? What is the poison apple? And I kind of realized something pretty unconventional. This happened like 10 minutes ago. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, okay, who is she now? What have we been presented with? She is the heir of a company. Doesn't seem to like father. Has a bit of an attitude that we kind of associate with being a snobby, like, rich kid. She's good at singing. She could probably dance. I think we can kind of infer that. And so I was like, okay, what if the evil queen is her dad? And her being the fairest of them all is, you know, is a gift, right? I mean, in the original story, it's like the mother's wish before the stepmother comes in as the evil queen to have what was it? A face as white as snow, cheeks as red as blood, hair as black as, I don't fucking remember, dude. But yeah, so it's like a gift, right? It's a gift. So Wise's singing ability, performing ability, and sociability, like, that is her gift. That is what makes her special, is that she is such a talented person in many fields, even in combat. She's good at combat, she's good at performing. What can't she do, right? So that kind of parallels being the fairest of them all, loosely. I can't figure out where the dwarves fit into this, but in original Snow White, the dwarves are a support system for Snow White, and being a foil / juxtaposition for the evil queen. Because the evil queen is jealous and tries a few times to kill Snow White. The dwarves support her, love her, and save her when she's in danger. So, could be our team, could be our side characters. I mean, if we're talking about Team RWBY and Juniper together, that's 8 characters, minus Weiss, that's 7. That could be 7 dwarves. Am I cooking? Could RWBY, Blake, Yang, John, Pyrrha, Nora, Ren be the 7 dwarves in Weiss's life? Hold up. That could be fire. That could be fire. And then for the poisoned apple, so ultimately, you know, the third attempt, the queen tries to assassinate her. It works because the poisoned apple, right? I feel like that could be a future development rather than a thing that happened in the past, where her father could maybe, because, like, right now as I see it, there's no reason for her father to not care about her. You know what I mean? Like, she's so popular, she's so talented, like, right now, we don't have a reason to believe that he doesn't like her. But if we are to assume that they are following the Snow White story somewhat, then the parental figure can't be proud of Weiss. So maybe in some way, Weiss also gets deceived by family in the same way that Red Riding Hood is. Maybe they can bond for that. Oh, maybe, you know, my RWBY Weiss ship taking off, yeah? You know? But yeah, I mean, because they're already close. They have development together, a lot of screen time together. They have chemistry. They worked out some stuff together. It could be a nice future development for both of them to get deceived by family at some point, and working out that betrayal together could be interesting. And for Blake, I was looking at Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, okay, obviously Beauty and the Beast, like fawness. The moral of the story for Beauty and the Beast, ultimately at the end of the day, or rather, I don't know about moral, but like the theme is inner beauty versus outward appearances. I don't really know where to put the fawness in here because, sure, Beast, but like, they look really human. Like, we're not even talking about like anthropomorphic animal humans. Like, we are dead ass talking about kimono Mimi humans. I don't know how bad the racism can get on that one when you're that similar. But then again, people kind of get mad over skin color, even though everything else is the same. I feel like I've talked about this before. Well, either way, going by that theme of loving the Beast, and the Beast himself was someone who was more on the selfish side before, and meeting Beauty kind of helped change that. So they both kind of changed their opinions of each other and of life at the end. I think Blake loving her faunus heritage and really accepting who she is, but also finding some kindness for humanity instead of, hating them, because her friends are human and they're great. And so there's hope that there's good people out there who are willing to make a difference and fighting for her, fighting with her in solidarity. I think it would be nice. That, although like that is such a vague direction moving forward anyway. So I feel like no matter what, it's basically going to be that, something similar to that. For Yang, we already have that plot line of finding the mom of Yang's mom specifically. So we already have that opened up as a plot line. But when I say finding family here, I don't mean literally searching for her biological mom. I'm talking about finding her place in the world. Finding found family. Not just RWBY as her sister, but also the friends she made along the way. Because for Goldilocks, the whole premise is about the sweet spot. Some things are too extreme on either end until Goldilocks finds the sweet spot. So Yang's probably going to be a character that's lost a lot of the time. She's going to be lost bouncing from one extreme to the other before finally finding her place where she needs to be, where she wants to be, most comfortably. And I feel like that has to do with family, tying in with the plot line, but also with the found family of the team, and getting closer to RWBY and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Right? So I feel like these are generally vague enough. I'd say RWBY is the most, specific one that we have so far. For Juniper, I have some interesting ideas for where Juniper could be going. So, John. Okay, so I was rewatching last episode, my last video, and I was looking through our discussion again, and so I looked through the historical figures, because that's what they're based on. For Joan of Arc, I suggested that John might be put through a trial for his beliefs. As in, right now he's still kind of finding his footing. He's still finding his integrity and what he believes in, what he's fighting for. Still kind of figuring that out a bit. Eventually, once he's found that solid space for him to be, where he finally feels that sense of stabilization, stable life. You know, he's progressing in his combat abilities. He's talking to people better. He's becoming a better version of himself, the one that he imagined himself to be. But before he can be that person, he's going to be put through a trial that challenges everything that he believes in, like morally and like philosophically. And that puts him through a ringer. Because it would be boring if we did the whole literal trial of Joan of Arc. Although that could be a cool arc where John literally gets into legal trouble. But I think it would be cool because John is a sort of deuterogonist basically by this point, so he's basically the second main character next to Ruby. So I feel like it would have to be significant then, so that's why I say it's very internal. For Pyrrha, Achilles' heel. And also her namesake achieving a Pyrrhic victory. I think John is becoming her Achilles' heel, becoming her one weakness. She's known as the invincible girl, right? Nobody can touch her. She's so good. But what do we do with characters like that? If the character themselves is untouchable, go for their family, go for their friends, go for the people close to them. We see these in superheroes all the time. Oh man, this superhero is such a pain in the ass to get through. Okay, what if we just threaten a family member? What if we kill one of their friends, What if we take one of them hostage? We prey on their connections. John is very obviously a weak spot for Pyrrha. And I feel like John is going to get her in trouble. Not because she got in trouble, but because she has to save him. That's like the ultimate damsel in distress situation, right? John hates being the damsel in distress. Pyrrha's weakness is someone else, a person. And her name being Pyrrha, based after a Pyrrhic victory. I think so. I think that's specifically what they're referencing, if I'm not wrong. I think we also discussed this in a previous video. But yeah, following that, so obviously Pyrrhic victory means you win, but the cost was so great that it's basically a loss. What if John dies? What if she fails to save John and he dies? That could be so fucking cool. Like, you would expect the underdog shonen main character, John, who doesn't have powers, but is trying his best, dying. It would be a cool reversal of the whole mentor-mentee situation, where instead of the mentor dying, what if the mentor loses the protege? Could be interesting. Or maybe something bad happens to John. I don't know if anyone's gonna get killed off. So we have no proof that it's gonna be that kind of story. Also, isn't that the reason why Monty added the whole aura shield thing to begin with, so that people can take more hits and have anime battles? I don't know. So yeah, Pyrrha is definitely more in the tragedy / sad direction, kind of going there. Nora, referencing the time Thor dressed up as a Valkyrie, right? Who's Loki? Who's Odin? And why is she worthy of Mjolnir? I know it's not the same thing. I know they reference things very loosely, but if you're gonna call a character, if you're gonna reference a character, if you are going to reference Thor, I would want to see at least a reference to all these other important characters. So I wonder who Nora's family is. What the family situation is like. Or doesn't it have to be literal family? It could also be people she knew. Or it doesn't have to be something in the past. It could be a future development. We could meet a character who's inspired from Loki. We could meet an Odin character. But that's just kind of fun speculation that could be, if it doesn't happen, it's fine, but it would be nice to see. What's more important, though, is being worthy of the hammer. I think that is a more interesting story that can be applied into the actual show. It's, you know, it's vague enough to actually just copy over, right? Nora wields the hammer, her fucking grenade launcher hammer thing. Super sick weapon, by the way. If she was an MMO class, I would play her. Why does she fight? Why is she doing this? It can't just all be for Ren, right? We don't know much about her. We really don't. And I feel like when we do, we'll see the reason for why she fights. The reason why she picks up the hammer. And maybe one day, something happens and she, quote-unquote, loses the worthiness. She reacts in a way to a bad situation that betrays the reason why she picked up the hammer to begin with. And so she either loses the weapon or can't bring herself to pick it up again. Man, that's kind of, that's kind of sad now that I'm saying it out loud, but I mean, again, it's cool, right? I mean, stories need conflict. Characters gotta be sad sometimes. So I think that's a cool direction, especially since Nora's such a cheerful character. Almost 100% guaranteed you gotta put her through a depressing arc. And for Ren, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. There's only one thing I have a crack theory of. What if Ren is trans? I was like, okay, well, Mulan's whole thing is that she's a woman who dressed as a man and pretended to be a man to be in the army. Ren in RWBY is a guy. What if Ren wasn't always a guy? What if Ren was AFAB? And I was like, that's a cool development, wouldn't it? It would be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun because it changes nothing, but like I mean, look at Ren though. You can't say that's like not kind of like he kind of gives off T-Guy vibes, like a little bit. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. I mean, we're kind of playing the game between, is he just a 2009 emo kid guy, or is he a trans guy? We could play this game. I don't know. But anyway, this segment is going on for way too long. Let's actually hop into the episode. Episode 9, Search and Destroy, let's go. To the point where it tips, to the point where it breaks, to the point where it bends, to the point where you just can't take anymore. There's a line that will cross and there's no return. There's a time and a place, no bridges left to burn anymore. We can't just wait with lives at stake until they think we're ready. Our enemies are gathering. The storm is growing deadly. Now it's time to say goodbye. God, I love this song. I love the show. No matter how long it takes for me to watch the next episode, as soon as I watch the intro, I'm like so fucking back. I'm so back in. Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm afraid those bags won't be necessary, girls, seeing as you've opted to shadow a huntsman on what is now essentially a reconnaissance mission. I can assure you we will not be establishing a single base of operations. Rather, we will be traversing several miles of hazardous wasteland and making camp in any defendable locations we may stumble upon. I've packed all of our essentials myself, put on the air course, and ready the airstrip.
Oh, shit.
And it's Dr. Ublik. I didn't earn the PhD for fun. Thank you very much. Come now, children. According to my schedule, we are already 3 minutes behind schedule.
I love him.
Well, all right then. Looks like we're going to save the world with Dr. Ublik. Okay, yeah, when you say it out loud, it sounds worse. Save the world?
Why?
You're going on world-saving missions without
Hey!
us. I'm hurt, sad. Maybe a little hungry? That last one's not your fault, though. Ren.
Sounds exciting.
All right.
Where are you going?
Oh, just outside the kingdom. Hey, so are we.
Oh.
Ren and Nora wanted to shadow the sheriff of a nearby village.
We set out tomorrow.
Then you can party with us
Oh!
We're shadowing a crime specialist. All inner-city detective stuff, we get junior badges.
You know what?
We normally go
That-
to the city
that
with
fits
you
them.
guys, which means stuff's always exploding in junk. So we thought this might be a better way to check out the kingdom when it's, you know, normal.
Well,
4 minutes, ladies.
They definitely have buddy cop vibes. I wonder how much of their ship.
well, wish us luck.
I know we're probably not gonna get to see everyone's perspectives, but can we get that? I want to see everyone's missions.
never saw you as much of a fighter.
I admit I fancy myself more of an intellectual, but I can assure you, as a huntsman, I've had my fair share of tussles.
Like the mushroom?
Those are truffles.
Like the sprout?
Those are Brussels.
Besides, given my expertise in the field of history as well as my
I missed the
dabblings
writing
in the
of the show.
archaeological surveys, our dear headmaster saw it fit to assign me to this particular assignment.
What does history have to do with this?
Why, what a preposterous question, you silly girl.
Everything.
History is the backbone of our very society. And the liver. And probably the kidneys, if I were to wager.
And that
Okay.
means...
The southeast quadrant outside of Vale is home to wild forests and deep caves. But it is also the location to one of the kingdom's greatest failures.
Mountain Glen.
Oh,
That's right. It was an expansion of Vale.
oh,
But in the end, it was overrun by Grimm and fenced off from the rest of the city.
Correct.
ooh,
And now it
juicy
stands
lore.
abandoned. It's a dark reminder.
And a likely place for a hideout.
Ah, wait, that's such a cool setup. I'm digging this. That ties everything in so well. And hold that pose. Yeah, that's a thumbnail right there. This is an aura farm, man. Oh, look, there's the Brussels
Ladies,
sprouts.
you still may be
Tumbleweed.
students, but as of
The
this
fuck am I
moment, your
talking
first
about?
mission as Huntress has begun. From this point forward, you need to do exactly as I say. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Ruby! I thought I told you to leave all your bags back at school.
But, you hadn't told us to listen to you yet. So I didn't.
She's not wrong. Very well, Ruby, leave your bag here. We can pick it up upon our return.
But well...
Young lady, what in the world could you possibly have in that bag that could be so important to bring it with?
You brought the dog.
In the bag.
We're here to investigate an abandoned urban jungle teeming with death and hostility. And you brought a dog.
Well, it could be helpful, actually.
Genius!
Oh, yeah. True. Yeah.
Lions are historically known for the perceptive nose and heightened sense of sound, making them excellent companions for hundreds of hours.
Why do
genius.
birds suddenly appear?
What are your orders, Doctor?
Ah, yes, straight to the chase. I like it. As
Hey,
we
don't
informed,
drop the
southeast
dog.
area has been marked as a recent hotspot for grim activity. Now, there are several possible explanations for this behavior, one of which being grim.
Sounds about right.
What?
Grim. A creature of grim, approximately 100 yards from us at this very moment.
Where?
What?
Oh, shit. Yo, that kind of looks sick, though.
Stop.
Huh?
There are a number of reasons why grim would congregate in this particular area. The most likely of which would be their attraction to negativity, sadness, envy, loneliness, hatred.
Is it attracted by
All qualities
lingering
that are
feelings
likely
as
held by our
well?
hidden group harboring ill intent.
So... what now?
We wait. We track. If this specimen leads us to its pack, that pack may subsequently lead us to our prey.
How long do we wait?
It's uncertain. Hours, days, weeks. Why, Lone Grin have been known to stay isolated from the pack for months, and there's the whole pack.
What?
And now they've seen us.
What?
And now they've seen us!
I take it tracking is out of the question?
An accurate assumption? Yes.
He's so
What's the
funny.
plan, then?
Show me what you're capable of.
This fucking bruh.
Here's why.
The writing is so immaculate. Yo, let's go. Got our anime cut-ins. Yeah. She's gonna be already gone. No? Yeah, she is. Let's go. Man. I wonder if we'll actually get to face like an actual problem, like an actual problematic Grim. Cause like Grim are kind of like split into two categories: fodder like this one, or like the boss ones where everyone teams up to fight them and they're suddenly like more resilient. Piece of cake. Oh,
Do not celebrate yet,
Ruby!
for I am
We're
certain this is
twinning!
the first bout of many. Shall we continue?
Oh, you're right. I need a game of this right now.
Excellent work, girls!
Oh, look kind of tired
Fortunately,
there.
there doesn't seem to be any signs of criminal operations in this sector.
Professional looks
well,
tiring,
moving
huh?
Hey, Doc, you know, I was actually looking forward to seeing a pro huntsman in action. Like, fighting, or at least helping us fight.
Ah, but I am in action, scouring the ruins of this one great city for any signs of irregularity. Not every mission is filled with daring and heroism, girls. Sometimes it's just a heightened form of extermination. Remember, this is a job, and you all signed up for it. I do hope you understand that.
Well,
Professionals.
yeah, of course.
Well, it's Yang, though. Yang's probably gonna get
Yang.
fucking bored.
Why did you choose this line of work?
Huh? Well, to fight monsters and save...
No, that is what you do. I want to know why you do it. The honest reason
Oh.
as to why you want to be a huntress.
Straight up.
The honest reason? I'm a thrill seeker. I want to travel around the world and get wrapped
yeah.
up in as many crazy adventures as I can.
Sounds about right.
And if I help people along the way, then that's even better. It's a win-win, you know?
I see.
Yeah. Oh
I
my
knew
god.
this need.
He's gonna
A
do
girl
this for
born
everyone.
into fame and fortune such as yourself certainly doesn't need the extra work. So, why choose this over a cushy job in Atlas?
It's exactly as you said. I'm a Shnee. I have a legacy of honor to uphold.
Oh.
Once I realized I was capable of fighting, there was no longer a question of what I would do with my life. It was my duty.
Duty.
Interesting.
Would yours be
And
justice?
what about you, Blake? You seem to carry
Vengeance?
yourself with a sense of purpose.
There's too much wrong in this world to just stand by and do nothing. Inequality, corruption, someone has to stop it.
Very well. How?
Oh, haven't figured out that part yet.
Sorry.
That's actually perfect.
Are we ready to keep going?
That's actually so good.
No, I believe that will have to do for today. It's going to be dark
Didn't ask
soon.
Ruby yet. Okay.
You three, set up camp in that building.
Oh, we're gonna get a
and please do
one-on-one?
make sure that there are no more of those creatures. Your leader and I are going to secure the perimeter. Come, Ruby.
Is this word still kind of... They're kind of thinking about it, huh?
What is
Whoa, what the fuck?
awesome?
That, my
Right.
dear girl, is a grin.
Well, yeah, no shit. Elephants are so cool. One of the coolest animals, to
Let's
be
kill
honest.
I'm afraid your
Straight
sniper
to
rifle will do
violence.
nothing more than agitate a grim of that size.
But what if
Ooh.
it attacks us?
Fret not, Ruby. Those Goliaths are not concerned with us. Ruby, not every grim is mindless.
Oh.
Or rather, not every grim is still mindless. You see, the grim you see before you are so powerful, so superior to the grim you fought, that they've undoubtedly lived hundreds of years. And in that time between killing humans and attacking our borders, they've done one important thing. They've learned. They've learned that when they attack our borders,
They'll
they're likely
die.
to die. And what we lack in strength, we make up for in will. And that killing one human will only bring more.
Yeah.
Then, why are they still so close to the city? What are they doing?
Waiting.
No, that's not good. That's not fun. Oh, rumbling. It's coming. Could you imagine a herd of these elephants like
Dr. Ublek?
storming the
I
kingdom?
was
Wondering why I've been interrogating your teammates all day?
actually, I was wondering, why did you want to become a huntsman?
Oh.
Look around and tell me what you see.
Lots of old buildings, empty streets.
History?
I see lives that could have been saved.
Ah.
As a huntsman, it is my job to protect the people. And although I am capable of doing it with traditional weaponry, I believe I can make a much larger impact if I do it with my mind.
Oh.
As a teacher, I'm able to take knowledge, the most powerful weapon of them all, and place it into the hands of every student that passes through my classroom. I look at this wasteland and I see lives that could have been saved. But I also see an opportunity to study these ruins and learn from this tragedy, and therefore become stronger.
He's kind of based.
I am a huntsman, Ruby, because there is nothing else in this world I would rather be.
Now there's something that he shares with everyone else in the team. Nobody else sees a different
I
way.
can't believe we didn't find anything.
We've always been fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. I guess we can't always have luck on our side.
You tell me.
That's not what I meant.
Huh?
Earlier. About upholding the legacy.
Oh?
There's more to it than that.
Oh.
Yeah. No, me too. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. I know what I want to do, but I figured I'd always take things one step at a time.
Well, it doesn't matter. We know why we're here. Right?
Ah, wonderful!
So juicy. Oh my god.
So warm.
Very good. Eat your dinners and hurry to bed. We have a lot of ground to cover tomorrow, and we'll need you to take turns keeping watch over our temporary abode. Any volunteers for first watch?
Yo.
Yo. She's taking initiative as the leader.
Hey, did Oobleck ask you why you wanted to be a huntress? I mean, what did you tell him?
No, he didn't. Weird. Oh well. Good night, guys.
Never change, Ruby. Unless you're forced to change. The narrative demands it, Ruby. Your days are numbered, Ruby. What a fun episode.
Don't worry. Things will be better tomorrow.
This atmosphere is crazy good. They really set it up so well. Goodness gracious. This volume is so fucking good, man. What are the odds I was talking about the character stuff earlier just now, and then now they actually like get into the characters? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I gotta talk about this so bad. Whoa! Cool fan art. Alright, see you in a bit. I'm gonna go grab the notes. Hi, I'm big now. I figured there's not much text on the screen, so, you know, might as well just make myself a bit bigger anyway. Really cool stuff. So let's just get into it. So, Juniper is shadowing a sheriff of a nearby village. Pretty cool. Sun and Neptune shadowing a crime specialist. Junior detective badges. John loves it. Pretty cool also. And it kind of fits, you know, like I said, they have very like buddy cop dynamics. The two idiots, the two idiot detectives, like, I would love to see a spin-off or at least a filler episode dedicated to just like seeing these two shenanigans, investigating crime and whatnot. That would be so fun. Yeah, but you know, we're not really sure if this has anything to do with anything. But they definitely, you know, at least they told us what everyone else is going to be doing in the meantime. Yeah. So according to Oobleck, the southeast quadrant outside of Vale is home to wild forests and deep caves. Mount Glen, an expansion of Vale that got overrun by Grimm and thus fenced off, a reminder of their failure. Which is interesting. So, you know, this goes to show that, yeah, no, the kingdoms, or at least Vale at least, you know, they do try to expand their borders, but it's difficult, right? It's a lot of resources to build a new city from the ground up, you know, a new expansion. And you're not even sure if it's completely safe, because if you don't have sufficient defenses, you're fucked. It even goes to show, you know, like, it doesn't matter if it's backed by the kingdom itself, the government of the kingdom itself. It can still go wrong. So all those people living out in villages and smaller towns outside the kingdoms, they're kind of like living on the edge living in this world is not safe. And I do wonder if there was more sinister forces behind this Mountain Glen expansion, but for now, I'll take it at face value. It just was an accident, basically. And so this is a perfect place for a hideout. Because we know that that there is White Fang activity in the southeast. This would be a good place for them to do that. So, recent hotspot for grim activity, likely their attraction to negativity, but I feel like, Oobleck doesn't really know what the reason is. I feel like there's probably... They're probably doing something, maybe the White Fang are like herding up the Grim or something. I don't know what they're doing, but they're probably doing something with that. I don't think it's just their attraction to negativity. But I mean, even him saying like, yeah, your intent to fight the Grim is a negative emotion. They can sense when you are going to attack them. And that itself counts as being attracted to that feeling. So it's really interesting, the ways that you would go about approaching these creatures, because they're not so far off from animals. They're really not. To sort of jump ahead here, there are smart Grim, they're like, it's not even a fantasy creature, not a fictional creature. It's just like real animals who watch other people, like rats, for example. If they see their friends go into a place and they don't come out, or they come out, or they die, or they get attacked, and it lives, now it knows not to go here anymore. It starts to associate things with each other. I mean, rats are famously used in scientific experiments for a reason. They're a really smart animal. They have empathy. They have, the ability to think at a higher level than what they look, really tiny creatures, but they learn just like real animals, just like us humans, also animals. So it makes a lot of sense, but it also got me thinking about how the Grim aren't really that, the Grim look like they're so different compared to normal animals, but they really might just be a different type of animal, corrupted by something. Like those elephants, their ancestors could have just been normal elephants that got corrupted by some kind of goo that made them this way. But this corruption stays as a permanent gene within their bodies, and so they can reproduce and produce more Grim. I'm not entirely sure how Grim are produced. For now, I'm just going to assume that they give birth just like any other animal. I'm not sure if the World of Remnant explained that before, but the World of Remnant did talk about how, Grim who are older, they, you can tell by the way their bones are. Grim who are older would learn. Grim who are older are just generally smarter. And I think I did mention that in the World of Remnant reaction. It would be cool to meet a Grim that can talk English. It could be cool to have a Grim friend, like an actual smart Grim enough to pass as a human kind of Grim. Imagine if they're a shapeshifter as well. We could have our shapeshifter Grim friend. I think that would be pretty sick. But yeah, let's get into the emotional core of the episode. So, Oobleck emphasizes the job aspect of being a huntsman, so shooting down the idea of all this bravado and heroism. I mean, he doesn't, say, he doesn't say to don't do that. He's just saying not every job is about being a hero. There's a time and a place. Sometimes it's just a job. Sometimes you go in and you just kill a bunch of things and you get out. Sometimes you go on these long crawls of just camping out here and there and just fighting all day, because a place needs to be cleared out for safety reasons. And there's none of that hero stuff, And also, in a way, he's also doing his job as a teacher and as an adult to say, hey, no matter how much of a hot shit you think you are, you're young. Thing is, it's dangerous. You can do all these things, and you're good at fighting, but your confidence is built upon your success and luck. All it takes is one bad day. All it takes is being unlucky for once. All it takes is one accident that came from your recklessness for you to suddenly have a different perspective about it. For Yang, for example, because that's who he was talking to, Yang so far has felt so powerful. Nothing touches her. She's so strong. She does all this for fun. She laughs and jokes around like Spider-Man fighting Grim. But that's because she hasn't actually suffered the consequence of recklessness. I mean, her whole gimmick is that she can take the damage that comes from her recklessness. It kind of goes hand in hand. She's a reckless person, likes thrills, so she's more likely to go do dangerous ideas. But her semblance allows her to take that consequence, and then she can dish it back out. So it's not like she can't handle the consequences of her own actions. She can. But we haven't seen the upper limit of what the consequences could be yet. We know that she absorbs the power that she takes damage from and dishes it back out, right? We don't know if that has a limit. How much damage can Yang take before it overloads her body? You know, we could see that eventually, where she takes so much damage that it doesn't empower her, it cripples her. You know? It just for every teenager and young adult out there. I mean, speaking as a young adult myself, like, yes, you know, there's so many things you could do by being brave, by being courageous, by jumping into the action, but you don't know consequence yet. And once you know it, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's when you're truly tested. Do you still want to do this? What precautions can you take next? Or do you just want to stop doing this entirely? I'm sure there are a lot of huntsmen out there who get up to this point and go, I've passed all the classes. I've done all this field work. This shit's easy. And then they actually have their first job out in the wild. They're like, fuck, I can't do this. You know? It's just like real life. So he's doing the responsible thing here as a teacher, which is cool. Oobleck's definitely one of my favorite characters right now. He's a really cool guy. He's a good teacher. He's just spitting straight facts. You know, and he's properly teaching them and showing them, you know, in practical ways how to apply their knowledge. So yeah, definitely go-to teacher. And then he starts asking everyone one by one the reason why they became huntsmen to begin with. Yang's reason is seeking thrills, traveling the world and helping people along the way. Definitely a very traditional hero type thing. Which, you know, just so happens to align with her other goal of finding the mom. It just fits in so well, you know? Just a nomad, not really tied down to one place. Just kind of having fun and helping people, you know, and just living a transient life, living without being tied down to anything. Even if it means that all that will be left to her after she dies is not anything physical, but probably a legacy. The people that she helped, you know, will have felt her influence. But at the end of the day, it's not anything huge. She mostly lives for herself and her own self-enjoyment, which is something I can relate to. I don't know if I have a place that I want to settle down. You know, I could just be traveling to different jobs in different parts of the world, not really having a place to stay. You know, for real, to put all my stuff at. At the end of the day, what does it get me? You know, if I stay down in one place, have all this stuff, once I'm gone, where is that stuff going to go? I think I'm way more concerned about my first of all, my enjoyment of my own life, because I'm entitled to that. And number two, my impact on other people. Which is why what I'm doing now, this video you're watching right now, is fulfilling both of these things. It's for my own enjoyment of flexing my creative mind a bit and doing something with it. You know, creating rather than consuming. It doesn't have to be anything heavy-handed. It doesn't have to be anything long-term, high investment. It can just be a reaction video. But as long as I create something instead of consuming and consuming and consuming, I'll feel fulfilled. And then the second part is, well, I want to help people. I want to talk to people about things. I want to share my experiences, listen to other people's experiences, and contribute to people's entertainment or contribute to people's education, which is why I'm interested in edutainment content as well. So I really relate to Yang's reason here, but it is a very fireworks explosion way to live life, which makes a lot of sense for Yang as a character because explosive gauntlets. Explosive gauntlets, and she has a very explosive personality, and so it makes sense that her life feels like a firework, something that is burning bright but very short-lived. It's kind of how I view my life as well. So now we move on to Weiss's reason. Complete opposite. Yang is not tied down by anything. Weiss is. But interestingly enough, she has a different perspective of upholding the Schnee legacy. Normally, you would think, well, fulfilling the legacy, upholding the legacy, her duty is to become the heir of the company. But she specifically chose to be a combatant instead. Apparently, once she figured out she could fight. And she felt like, well, there's nothing else I want to do. This is her way of upholding her legacy. But maybe other people in her family don't agree. Maybe going back to the Snow White example, the evil queen, maybe the evil father doesn't approve of her upholding the legacy in this way. Maybe it's one of those situations, because you see this in real life all the time. I like plenty of people's family, parents, they have some kind of like inheritance. Could be a job, could be a business, whatever, that they want their children to continue. But maybe the children have a different thing they want to do. Can you force your children to continue that legacy for you, to continue that business for you? You can't force them. You can definitely, they will understand. You probably made them help you in the business for a while, but they have to choose what they want to do with their lives, and moving forward. And there's just so many times where parents just don't get it. And I mean, I understand, you'll feel worried that the business, the legacy will die with you, but is having your child a business decision, or was it for something else, So, Weiss choosing the path of a huntsman instead of whatever it is she could be doing back at home is, funnily enough, it could be seen as an act of rebellion, defiance by the family, but an act of tradition for her. In her mind, it could be something not rebellious, but it could be something completely traditional and keeping with the company, keeping with the whole the business of the Shneen Company alive. You know, in her mind, this is a legitimate way to contribute to her family, you know? Which I think also matters. This perspective also matters. And then we jump to Blake's reason. Well, we don't know Blake's... Well, we know Blake's reason. She feels like there's too much bad in the world. Injustice, inequality, corruption. She's like, well, justice needs to be served. Because who else is doing that right now? She feels like she's compelled to be the one who helps. She's not the type of person to sit back and see all these injustices happen and just let it slide. She's the kind of person who would be an activist about it. Which makes sense. She was part of a radical group when she was younger. And she even went to rallies. Full-on rallying and holding up a sign and everything when she was a kid. So naturally, she's going to grow up into becoming a very radical activist teenager. But she chose to become a huntsman. Oobleck validly asked her, how is becoming a huntsman going to solve this problem? You know, I mean, you could say, yeah, I mean, you can help people. You can save people from Grimm. But that's not really where you go with this. Becoming a politician makes sense. Or do you want to become a vigilante? It seems like she wants to put her combat to good use, so it's more like she wants to do the vigilante thing. Because what she is worried about is systemic issues. What she's fighting is monsters. She should be fighting other monsters, not Grimm. The wrong type of monsters. The wrong line of work. She should be more... She's more like a Batman, like... You know, more along the lines of what Sun and Neptune are doing. You know, I feel like, Blake shadowing a crime specialist would make sense for her character because that's what she likes to do anyway. Infiltrating White Fang meetings, you know, dispelling racism, maybe like fighting exposing a corrupt politician, you know, spreading awareness for fairness, positivity, and, you know, things like that. So why is she here? Unless violence is the only way she knows how to express this feeling. She grew up in the White Fang, after all. And for a while, she was a vigilante, doing their own radical group thing. This is all she knows. She has these feelings of wanting to fix systemic issues, but the only way she knows how is to fight. And so she's fucking lost. She doesn't know where the fuck she is. Why is she here right now? So it's cool. Cool that Blake's arc is developing in this way. And then we didn't get Ruby's reason, which I wonder if we'll get an explanation as to why. But maybe Ruby's is already really clear. I don't know. I don't know why. But we do get Oobleck's reason, which is to use knowledge to combat the Grimm and prevent deaths that are preventable. Which is pretty based. You know, it's another example of using a different way to solve. It's basically another example of finding a different solution to the problem, or finding a different method to find the solution. You know, instead of physically fighting the Grimm, what if you used your brain to do that instead? Because some problems are fought with weapons, some problems are fought with knowledge. So it's cool that we have different perspectives in professional hunters and huntsmen's line of thinking. So I'm glad that we're getting Oobleck because, you know, I'm sure someone like Professor Port would be more into the glory. I mean, he literally has like taxidermied fucking trophies of his hunt. So he's definitely more into that kind of thinking. You know, an actual huntsman. Oobleck's more like the learning from history type of guy. So I wonder if we'll meet more professional huntsmen who have different ideas of what being a huntsman means. You know, just different perspectives, not necessarily who's right, who's wrong, but just different ways in which you can fight. And, you know, what I did say in the episode that, you know, all of these have in common is that everyone, well, except for Blake, but everyone knows what they want to do. Well, no, yeah, including Blake. Blake knows what she wants to do. She wants to fight systemic issues. She just doesn't know how. But everyone knows that they want to do this so bad. Yang wants to be a free spirit. Weiss wants to uphold the Schnee legacy. Blake wants to fight systemic issues. RWBY wants to be a fairy tale hero. Which is really funny, considering what Oobleck was saying here. He was saying this to Yang, but I feel like RWBY could have gotten something from this. We have no idea what RWBY thinks of this line. She's the one who's big on heroism. I mean, Yang also, yeah, but like RWBY's whole speech in Volume 1 was, I want to be just like the huntresses in the books. You know, the world isn't a fairy tale, but that's why we're here. It's dripping with fantasy and romance and heroism, not the tedium of a job, the seriousness of a job, the responsibility of a job. It's a very fairy tale idea of what being a huntsman is. I'm really surprised that we didn't get the RWBY perspective of this, but maybe that comes hand in hand with the fact that Oobleck didn't even ask her reason yet. Maybe we'll find that out in the next episode. Maybe because it's like they needed a whole episode to do RWBY's perspective because it's just that like important to focus on or like that dense. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how they expand on this. This is super cool, doing an actual character study in the episode. And it makes perfect sense because they're shadowing a professional huntsman who is trying to understand the students that he is mentoring. Super cool. Love this episode. Fantastic episode. So yeah, as always, do let me know what you think about this episode in the comments. And if you have anything you want to discuss with me, and my favorite comment will be picked out and read at the start of the next episode. And with that, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye!